Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayuame Sally and today I'm joined by Isi Ofodele. Hi Isi.
Hello Osayuame, I see your hair looking like that of Whitney Houston's hair. So cute.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. In fact, Osayuame, anything that could go wrong today actually went wrong for me. I was driving down. On my way down, I had a flat tire. And I had a little friction with the vulcanizer, and I had to get something and it was not available. In fact, everything that could go wrong today actually went wrong. So I'm just happy I'm here and the studio will not blow up in my face.
Well, it's actually an interesting day. I had a very long meeting, but it was a productive one. So hopefully we're hoping that, fingers crossed, something productive comes out of it. All right, so today we want to talk about something very, very serious that we have been pushing for the perfect time because we have the perfect guests to talk about it. And here's what we found as today's quote. The only effective way to reduce and prevent juvenile crime is to balance tough enforcement measures with targeted effect and intervention initiatives. We're talking about juvenile crime today, and we're hoping that we'll be able to address the Ebano Inferno, that video that went viral. Of course, the students in what's it called, Edo College. I saw the video as well. That video that went viral. So that's the conversation tonight.
For me, I know this is quite possible in an effective environment where the rule of law stands, but where we have the adults not living up to expectations, not being accountable for whatever they've done, how do you expect the youth to sit up? Because they're looking up to the adults, and the adults are not accountable.
If we start the conversation from this note, we will not get to
So in this case, that's why I'm looking at it from
a reasonable conclusion.
But we have to start from somewhere.
And that's what I'm just trying to tell you now. If you go to this route, you can't find solution. All right, so from the Ebano Inferno to the viral video of the students of Edo College physically assaulting their fellow junior student, juvenile delinquency has and will always be around. So how do we deal with children involved in crimes? Now, Taiwa Kilami, yes, our very own, is here to discuss this. But first, we'll take a break to see what we found in the news. You're still watching Ways now. International Clouded Leopard Day, that's ICLD, is a day of international awareness and an attempt to increase the profile of clouded leopards, both in captivity and in the wild. Organizers of the ICLD are Lauren Amos and Dan Kemp, two carnival keepers from Howard Wild Animal Park in Kent. And they also work with this very shy and exclusive species on a daily basis. The objective is to raise awareness and unite conservation thinking amongst zoology, collections, charity, NGOs, businesses, and all those with an interest in one of the world's most beautiful iconic cats. Now the clouded leopard, and that's it. Oh, so pretty. Every species on Earth has its own unique role to play in maintaining an overarching ecological balance, both in life and in nature. They're so cute.
I love the fact that you talked about the ecological balance.
Yeah.
It's so important because, we believe that life is a jungle, but the key thing is that everything
getting work where they do. If you don't have earthworms, how would you work the soil for your crop to grow?
So
So every
and I like
animal.
the fact that this animal is so pretty because of the beautiful
so
stripes.
cute,
You know, it's so different from the normal leopard actually that we know. It's cute.
So cute. You know, I actually wish I could actually have some of these things. It's just that it's not. The fear inside of the Edo blood, no, it's not even Niger.
The Edo babe.
The Edo blood in me. The Edo blood in me. But I actually love.
There was a video I saw of an Arab who actually had a cat, and the cat was a white lion, and he told the other person who was actually filming the scene and said, "Oh, come close. You saw it, huh?" And the lion actually, you know, roared, and immediately there was a cat.
That was the end of the video. I saw it.
It was interesting.
I can't even try it.
I can't be that close.
I actually do love cats. I love cats. I'm a cat lover, you know. So
yeah, the tamed one, you mean?
Any kind of cat. I'm a cat lover. So anything cats just gets me, you know. But you know, Nigerians now, witches and wizards. All right. So what did you find for us in the news, Issy?
Okay. You know, I talked about something earlier where I said that, you know, the younger generation are actually looking up to the adults, and if we are not able to protect the younger generation, what kind of individuals are we breeding or are we grooming to, you know, take over the mantle from us when we are old and gray? So this caption from Linda Ikeji's blog that says that a Bello, a 10-year-old boy from Safana local government area in Katsina State, has joined the work of Banga to chase away bush thieves. What will you do for him? To me, I think this is a no-no for me. Basically, this is a 10-year-old boy, and the fact that there is an adult, and there are adults around this young boy that handed the gun over to him to do what? This boy should be in school, and this is going to cause a ripple effect for us in the future. What are we having in the north? They're not going to school, they're not being educated, and in the course of this, even informal education is not even taking place. The kind of informal education that is taking place with them is for them to, you know, protect themselves and survive the rockers of Boko Haram or any other terrorist group that comes up to, you know, attack them in their villages. So where do we go from here? What kind of
I would actually love, yes,
for the younger ones?
I would actually love to hear Tawa Aklami's take on this, you understand? Because at face value, when you see, oh, the boy is trying to be part of, you know, but this is clearly child abuse.
Some people were actually giving the laughing icon. I couldn't comprehend it because it's heartbreaking. This child should be in school.
Yeah. All right, so quickly, let me take a story that we took yesterday about Dubai lifting the ban. Lifting the ban of flight. That was what we saw in the papers. So a communique came out from the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization of the United Arab Emirates, that's the UAE. And so they came out, they wrote this write-up, and I thought to mention it, that we are startled and staggered and astonished with the rate at which Nigerian bloggers within hours yesterday themed the caption that the caption, the just approved the return of valid UAE residents and visa holders. So let me just summarize it. So this ban is actually for people that have legit reason to be residents. Nigerians that are legitimately working there, yes, they have residency. Yes. So they are not coming under tourist visas. So anybody that goes near the airport with a tourist visa, they will bounce you back. So because we took the story yesterday, it was important that we correct that, you know, that narrative. So it's actually for people that are resident, that they have genuine reasons. They're working in Dubai and in the UAE rather.
Exactly.
So all of those people are the ones that have been approved. You know, some of them have not been able to go back because of restrictions. They've not also been able to come in and out of the country because of the restrictions. They work legit there in the UAE.
It actually affected my brother-in-law, who is supposed to come in. So he said because of the ban, he can come in. So maybe with this, there's a possibility that he'll be able to. Yeah,
then the other story I had actually for us today was, I saw this quite troubling as well, because I mean, we're talking about children here. Nigerians still battling 14 out of 20 tropical disease. listed by WHO. This is a Premium Times report. If you can find time to read it, they had very, very interesting names, but I can't mention some. I'll just try. Elephantiasis is still one of them. Leprosy, snake bites, rabies. In fact, the names are they're a mouthful. I wish a medical doctor were here. But what was really shocking, they said about 122 million people, which is equivalent to 2 out of every 3 Nigerians, are at risk of these diseases. You understand? So, I mean, about 14 of these diseases. So, if you have time, please go through the report. It's important to note and also pay attention, because this is actually tied to a lot of poverty. People living without adequate sanitation, so they are also at risk. So when we say that, okay, we have become the poverty capital of the world, you understand? It's not only just poverty, hunger. There's also, we're at risk of high infections, diseases, and all of that. So death again would increase and all of that. So it is worthy of note, and we are hoping that the Ministry of Health is really on top of the matter. Yes. Okay,
I was going to say that, COVID is real. We all know it's real, though some people still believe that it's not real. And a lot of attention is given to COVID based on the fact that it is an epidemic. So this is something that we should also take into cognizance. And
in fact, I read somewhere, was it yellow fever? No, not yellow fever.
As well.
Or cholera. Or
cholera.
You understand? There's an outbreak somewhere. I can't remember where I saw that story now. I was trying to pull out that story. So, I mean, like you rightly said, here we're concentrating on COVID. But we have, there's river blindness. So we have
so many
a lot of
that
this.
Are not even being given that
and they are killing more people than
COVID
to COVID. Yeah, so it's very important that the Ministry of Health takes up this and try to find a way to reduce the numbers. All right, so we're going to go on a quick break now. When we return from the break, we'll be discussing how to handle child crime. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
There has to be a decision point. The way your baby is presenting, we have to rush you in. And my partner at the time was like, "You going to cut her? Are you going to cut her? Is it going to leave a scar?" And I said, "Am I a belly dancer? What is the problem here?"
No, I'm vulnerable about the future of the children, the future of mine and the future of the generation of my children.
I want to have nude pictures taken.
Of you?
Yes, but without showing my private parts. I want to put it in my front room. And they said, "You can't do that. People will be embarrassed when they came into your house." I said, "Well, it's my body and it's my front room."
All the things that we do, what is the purpose of it?
I just realized that I was more trusting before I was 6.
So many women, they just feel like I have to cook for my husband, I have to breastfeed my children, I have to pick them from school.
Because society expects
Then you
them
go
to.
home and you cry and you stop your career, you can't do anything, then you blame everybody. You took that choice.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment. And another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, a juvenile is a person who has not attained his 18th birthday, and juvenile delinquency is the violation of a law of a country committed by a person prior to his or her 18th birthday, which would have been a crime if committed by an adult. Some weeks back, we all saw the devastating crime committed by a 9-year-old. When she set ablaze a 5 billion naira worth of goods at a supermarket, an Ebano supermarket in Abuja. And very recently also the viral video of some students assaulting a junior student at Edo College. Now, whilst the governor of the state, that's Edo State, Governor Obaseki, has suspended both principal and housemaster, how should we punish the perpetrators of this crime, the juveniles? How should we punish the crimes committed by juveniles? That's our conversation for tonight. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Isi, I just want to hear your thoughts in a minute. What do you think? How to prosecute the crime?
Look, back in the days, we'll say, oh, you beat the child, you get aggressive with the child. But today, I think we need to start talking and interacting with the child, because there are so many issues surrounding the child today, or the juvenile today. So we need to interact with them, get to know where the anger is coming from.
Is this anger, or this was a deliberate, for the fire one? I can't get over that.
There is always an angle to anything that happens. You see, children, they react to what they see around them. And basically what they are seeing around them right now is not any...
So the girl actually saw...
There is no help.
She saw somebody setting ablaze a supermarket.
If you dig deep, you will be able to dig out where that source of, where she could think of that thing and actually do it. So it's essential that we know where the root cause.
I have questions for
we know the root cause of where this is coming from.
Absolutely. Let me bring it our guest. Biko Taiwo Akilabi is a social development lawyer, the co-founder of Power Parenting Company, Parents' Rights to Social Protection advocate and publisher. Taiwo Akilami is arguably Africa's foremost child protection thinker and practitioner. His unique philosophy and teachings on family strengthening, child protection and related matters have been well received in over 133 countries. Akilami is also a prolific writer. This word is always a tongue twister for me. A poet and a blogger. And he's joining live in studio.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
It's
although today I want to pull your trouser, because today we want to be at war. No, because I saw all the write-ups you've been writing now. Let's all start with.
There'll be no basis for war.
Hey, there will not be war. No, I'm just joking. But let's start first of all with the Ebano crime, because that's the first crime that happened before this recent one of the assault of the students in Edo State. That Ebano crime, I watched all the videos that we saw online. I watched the video on the girl setting the supermarket ablaze. I watched the video on how the police were questioning the girl. And I watched the video of the CCTV footage outside of the supermarket.
Yeah.
And okay, so when I watched the first ones, I said, okay, maybe. But when I watched the video outside of the supermarket, for me, I do not think this was a... juvenile, they say it's like, okay, this is just like I'm being a truant and all of that. This one she seems like a full-blown criminal, right? So how do you even handle this kind of a case, a 9-year-old? Because I know that you have been fighting the police for even going ahead, questioning her in the manner that they did, that we all saw that went viral. So
let me start by saying that a nation deserves the kind of youth they get. Our children came to this world blank, ready to receive. That's why Maria Montessori made it abundantly clear that children have absorbent mind. Why do you call younger age formative years? It is the years where children are formed. Now it's like there's a mode. That mode is what they fit into, and that mode is our example. It's what we show. So when you find children, getting into crime, you must look at the kind of environment in which they are being raised. Now, in the country called Iceland many years ago, their children were delinquent. They were hooked on drugs, a whole lot of juvenile delinquencies, a lot of bad practices. And they began to ask the question, why our young people becoming the kind of people they were becoming. And research found that the people who were more delinquent, who were more irresponsible as young people, were people whose families were people whose parents did not spend time with.
Okay.
And so, what did the government do? The government began to incentivize the whole idea of parents spending time with their children. And in 5 years, they saw a reverse of that particular case, of that particular prevalent cases of delinquency, of addiction to all kinds of substances and drugs and all of that. So that goes to show that the problem is always with the kind of training our children are receiving. Now, so this 9-year-old girl that we are talking about, whatever has happened, despite the video that we have seen, is still at the realm of allegation. It's an allegation. It's an allegation. All of us that are looking at the video, we are not in a place of expertise to judge what has happened. If everybody is judged according to social media, many people will be in prison today. Sure. Unfortunately, the social media has its own place, and the judiciary, the justice system has its own system. That is why judges, when you refer them to newspaper and all of that, they tell you, I don't read newspapers. I just follow my case. You know, like in this present Baba Ijesha case, they were trying to refer the judge to a particular newspaper. He said, I don't read newspaper. I don't know what is going on out there. That is the kind of life I'm living, so that I can have a balanced mind to look at whatever, a free mind to look at whatever I'm looking at. So, now, for the Ebano case, it's unfortunate. That is an investment over 5 billion naira. I mean, nobody plans to put in place that kind of investment, and it goes up in flames, you know, within a day. You know, considering the fact that this is not the first time a Ebano supermarket is going to experience that kind of thing. There are supermarkets in Lekki Phase 1 also had, maybe 2 years ago or thereabouts, had experienced that kind of incident. So is it that there's a conspiracy against Ebano supermarket? Are competitors after it and all of that? Those are things that will be found out when the investigation is concluded. But my position is this, that the law does not say the child who is in conflict with the law. That is the balance, children in conflict with the law. Now, when under the Juvenile and Young Persons Law, which has been abrogated by the Child Rights Act in the Federal Capital Territory, where the Child Rights Act is fully enforced, and every state, 25 states of the Federation, that has promulgated the Child Rights Law, in those states also, the Juvenile and Young Persons Law have been abrogated. As a matter of fact, the Child Rights Act or the Child Rights Law makes direct provision to say that this Child Rights Law or this Child Rights Act abrogates Juvenile and Young Persons Law. Under the Child Rights Act, there is a section called Child Administration of Justice, and it's dealing with children in conflict with the law. And I read to you section 204. It says, no child shall be subjected to the criminal justice process or to criminal sanctions, but a child alleged to have committed an act which will constitute a criminal offense if he were an adult shall be subjected only to the child justice system and processes set out in this act. Now, what we are saying is that it's not that a young person who has been found to be in conflict with the law the law does not say the young person should go free of charge. Nothing will happen to the child. But the law is saying that our disposition must respect the best interests of the child, must respect child friendliness, must respect restorative justice, rehabilitative justice, not retributive justice. That is the position of the law. But look, so how do we know whether we're in the best interest of the child? Section 205 says the right of the child to privacy specified in Section 8 of this Act shall be respected at all times. Of child administration of justice, in order to avoid harm being caused to the child by undue publicity or by the processes of labeling. Now, it went further to say, accordingly, no information that may lead to the identification of a child offender shall be published.
Which was where the police...
They've broken all the protocols.
This is the first thing. Your station is guilty.
Yes.
We're all guilty.
The TV stations, the bloggers, you know, the police. Now, there is a crime being investigated. We want to get to the root of the crime. We are more excited about sensationalism than the crime that has been committed. How does the law recommend that we prosecute a crime that has been committed, an allegation? The law says when it comes to children, don't show the identity of the child. Keep it away because of labeling. Because once you show the identity, then you are no more restorative. You are no more rehabilitative. You are now trying to...
It's not correctional anymore.
It's no more correctional. So the law says don't do that. The law says the child will not go through normal criminal processes, which means the child is going to be tried. Now, after police investigation, if the child is found to have a case to answer, now the child is going to be charged in a family court. And I believe a family court exists in Federal Capital Territory. And a family court does not sit alone. The family court sits with a judge who is a lawyer, who is a judge, who background of law. Then the family court sits with 2 assessors. At the high court level, sits with 2 assessors. At the magistrate court level, sits with 2 assessors. As a matter of fact, those assessors are social workers, people who are trained in child psychology, who understand how children dynamics and all of that. One of the things the court also does is what we call social inquiry. Now, when an adult commits a crime, there's one presumption of innocence. That is, the adult is innocent until proven guilty. But when a child commits a crime, a child in conflict with law, there are 2 levels of presumptions. Number 1 presumption is that the child is innocent until proven guilty. Number 2 presumption is that it must be assumed that the child does not have the mental and intellectual capacity to know the consequence of that action. It is therefore the responsibility of the state to prove that the child has the mental capacity and has the intellectual capacity. Was the child sent? Maybe. Then the law will still need to prove whether the child has the mental and intellectual capacity to have committed, when she acceded to doing it, whether she has the mental and the intellectual capacity to have committed that crime. Those are the processes that have been flouted. Let me show you another section. Section 211. Under investigation, it says that avoid harm to the child, having due regard to the situation of the child and the circumstances of the case. In this session, harm includes the use of harsh language. Look at that investigation. We will slap you now. Yes. Come to this side. Now, what did your mother take you to do? You are asking the child a question that is not within the knowledge of the child. Why did the mother take you there? Now, physical violence, exposure to environment, or any consequential physical, psychological, emotional injury or hurt. That is the position of the law. All of these have been flouted in the process of investigating this case. My position is not that the child must go scot-free. My position is not that that investment should go to ruins and we should just forget about it. My position is that when you are dealing with children who are in conflict with the law, we must tread cautiously.
But Taiwo Akinlami, you are a lawyer. Sorry, Isi, I'll let you come in. There was a woman that held the hand of that clown, right? What does the law say about that woman? Yes, we know that according to the video.
Outside the video.
Yes, now because she held them, they were looking at the fire and they now walked away. My point is, even if we cannot, because there are so many intricacies dealing with the child. There was an adult in that video.
Then we are adults.
Well, I don't know if that other girl she's up to 18, so I really cannot tell. But I'm talking about the real mature woman that we saw there. Can we not hold her on behalf of the child, from the legal point of view?
This is the position of the law.
Yeah.
This.
You know why I'm saying this? Now look at what has happened in Edo State. Juxtapose that. The Edo State governor has fired.
I'm going to speak to
or suspended the principal and the housemaster. No, don't worry.
Based on that.
So let him go back to that question. Couldn't we have held that woman accountable?
So there are 2 issues involved here.
Yeah.
That incident allegedly happened at about 7 o'clock. Yes. So who leaves a child on his or her own at about 7 p.m. in a big supermarket like that?
Negligence.
The parent has a case to answer, in the sense that that child at that point was an unaccompanied child.
Yes.
The child could have been kidnapped. The child could have been consumed in the fire. Anything could have happened. So they have a case to answer at that level. because that child was supposed to be under the custody of someone at every point in time. The child was not supposed to be on his own. So we can hold the parent or the guardian or the person who took the child there responsible for not playing the role of protecting or guiding the child so that the child went ahead and committed that crime. Now, another thing is this. If the child was sent, there are three aspects when a crime is committed. Number one, there's accessory before the fact. That is the person who architected the crime, who creates the environment for the crime to happen. That's an accessory. Yes. Somebody who says, you go there, take these matches, that's the way to go. Like if it was somebody like that, that's an accessory before the fact. You are not only accessory before the fact because you engineered the crime. You are also accessory before the fact because of some omissions that you allowed, like the mother now who took the child there. Even if the mother did not send the child, the question is, where were you when your 9-year-old went to send that place on fire? That's number one. Now there's now the actual person who committed the crime, this 9-year-old now who has been alleged to have committed that crime. Now there's now accessory after the fact. Accessory after the fact is the person who built a cover up and for the person who has committed the crime, it means for the person to escape and all of that. In this matter, all of this are supposed to be investigated. But there's another position of the law which says that there's room for restitution. If the girl burns down a particular property, the girl is not working, she doesn't have means, the position of the law is that the court can rule that the parents of the child should take responsibility for rebuilding that place and paying that money and all of that. But the only way the parents are going to escape is to show that they were not negligent. They were not negligent. The offense that the child committed was not as a result of their negligence. They've done everything they're supposed to do under the law, and there was no way they were responsible for what the child has done, except they're able to establish that. So what I'm saying is that all
means there's a case for Evano, yes.
What I'm saying is that all hope is not lost on this case. My position is that we should do things properly. Please note that the Child Rights Act is in full force at the Federal Capital Territory. This law is enforced there. And if the law is enforced there, how come those police officers do not understand what to do? How come they did what they did and somehow it was in the public glare? I mean, that video was published. Yes. How come the IG or Mr. Mba, the PPRO, has not come out to address us as to the fallacy committed by those people? I think police should not continue to pander to public opinion. The police hierarchy, the police force is supposed to be a professional body. But we see in this part of the world that the police has continued to fail. And this is why the police has continued to fail. Police has not fully taken responsibility for the welfare and the security of the people. Because they are not doing that, they don't look for cases to show that they are working. That's what happened to the Taga's matter. When you brought a girl who is a suspect, innocent or before proven guilty, and you display that before the press, and the whole press was interviewing her, when you said the investigation was still on, how can the investigation be on? You have just arrested one person. You say other people are still at large. You know, you were not giving the people who you were giving the press freedom. Everybody was interviewing the girl. Even there's another interview, you know, making it sensational. Then you are saying that you are still investigating the case. Everything that the people who might have committed the crime with her needed to know to prepare their case, you were showing them. What kind of justice is that?
If I may step in.
Quick.
Okay, if I may step in here now. The case that happened in Edo State. Yes. Basically, where we had the students, you know, bullying the the junior students, okay? Now, we all know that in boarding schools, things like this happen, but where did we get it wrong? That it has gotten to a stage whereby, you know, there is so much aggression amongst the youths.
Well, I do not commend the governor of Edo State for suspending the principal or the housemaster. That's what we do in this country. We cry after the milk has been spilled. But it ought not to be so. We've been saying it times over the years. Children are not protected by this kind of sanctions. After you have not suspended the principal, you have suspended the housemaster. What is next? Are you going to ask critical questions that led to that? So let me give you a quick example. My client's son was sodomized in a school. 2 seniors sodomized him. Private school, highbrow school, 6 figures school fees. We showed up there and we asked the question that, please, they said the child couldn't have been abused there. I say, I know. I'm not even saying the child is abused there. What I'm saying, what measures did you put in place to ensure that it doesn't happen? Where is your child protection policy? Where is your child protection system codified into policy, broken down into processes on which everybody is trained? Where is your anti-bullying policy? What do you have in place to prevent this thing from happening? They didn't have. They trusted, some trust in policies, some trust in processes. We trust in the name of the Lord. And that is how we are going to get it happen, that we protect our children. Did you know that a child was being sodomized in a school, and he went to write a prayer request and said, Lord, I don't want these guys to see me again. The chaplain saw the prayer request and called the boy and prayed for the boy. Their eyes will not see you again. They will not catch you again.
Oh my God.
And the boy went back. Few months, for a whole time, they didn't come. The child thinking that everything was okay. And they came again. That same night, the child called the mom and said, Mom, I'm leaving this school today. The point I'm trying to make is this. In Edo State, if you want to investigate that case, what policy is in place to ensure that children are protected? What is the policy against bullying? How much time do we spend in training those children? What is happening is that we want to reap where we have not invested. We want children to behave in a way that we have not invested for them to behave. Now watch. You go to the farm, you plant cassava, you plant coconut. You know, you are now reaping coconut. You are busy beating the farmer. You are busy, breaking the mirror. You look at yourself in the mirror. You don't like what you see. You are busy breaking the mirror. That's not the way to go. These children, there is a culture. You know, what you are seeing right now is a reflection of a culture. There's a culture in the school that allows this. Yes. And I want to tell you, this is not the first time this one is happening. This is just this is the one that has gone viral. If it has not gone viral, what will happen? Now, let me tell you something. For you to come out to say you are suspending somebody and all of that, I don't think it's the way forward. And that's what we do. When we want to cut a tree, we start from the head. But we'll note that in Falomon here, few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, it was recorded that a set of boys waylaid, girls, and they were with scissors, and they were going to cut the skirts of those girls, and they were going to rape them in public. A good Samaritan who was driving behind them decided to park her car and started following these young people, a woman. Yes. And at the end of the day, she got those boys rounded up. And now, what was the response? The response was that we are going to deal with them. But a woman came out, and all students came out to say that, who does not know that this is the practice every year? Every year when we finish, when young people in those areas graduate, they tear their uniform, they do all of those things. That is not new. The only thing that is new is that somebody was curious and conscious and committed enough to do something about it. And that's why it has become news. So this is the point. So I told somebody was speaking to me at the level of the Lagos State government. I told them, I said, look, what you need to do, you need to go back to that school. What mentoring program do you want to start? How do you want to undo the character, the way that these people have learned to do things? Now, you can't say what you are going to do is to carry those children to prison. You carry them to prison, that is not deterrence to those who are left behind. Then again, have you noticed that young people who go to prison in Nigeria, they come out, that's why they now learn crime. They now become real hardened criminal when they come out. And that's another thing police does. We were in a matter where police told a boy, the boy is 16 years old. Police said you are 21. That's what police do most of the time. They arrest children because they don't want to accommodate them under the law. They want a fast way of dealing with them. What do? They come and say that you are 21. And I know at the end of the day, the child will say, I'm 16. Say, if you like, say you are 16. After they have scared the child will claim 21. Many young people are in prison like that because the police force them to falsify their age.
Oh my God, you know what? Let's go on a very short break. We'll be right back. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having an amazing, but very, very deep conversation with Taiwo Akinlami on handling child crime. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. Taiwo, this matter is serious.
Okay.
So, if the people, because what you said just before we went on the break about police threatening the children to increase their age just because they do not want to go through trying them under the child rights law, you know, then where is the solution? You know, how do we begin to change some of these things? I mean, I 100% agree with what you've said about the culture. And some of these cultures is not like it's alien. It's actually in the faces of a lot of people. I remember clearly when I was going to serve, this was in 2006, when I was going to serve my NYSC. They posted me to some school, I won't mention, but I'll mention the area in Ifako. So as soon as I got to the principal's office, and you know, she told me that, well, in this school, when you want to talk to the children, talk to them calmly, don't shout on them, don't correct them. In fact, don't even try to say you want to correct them or whatever, because if you do that, by the time you are coming out of the classroom, your tires, all four of your tires, they would have used knife to slash it, if they do not even injure. So for me, that was strange to me, that a secondary school child would do this. So I just told the woman, I said, please, madam, I really don't have energy. As you can see, I'm a nursing mother. Reject me. And that was how I got my rejection letter. And I went straight to a private school that could not give me headache. You know, but you see, the thing about the culture, for her to be that detailed, is not something that is hidden. It's not something that the principal or whatever, they would deny that these things do not happen. So how do we even handle this kind of crimes when it has become something that they are passing from generation to generation? Some schools, some boarding houses are not as volatile, deadly as this, but they do so many bad things, you know, both in day schools, boarding schools, amongst young children. So how do we even handle this crime?
Well, I think that what we face is a reflection of a nation that has abandoned its children. If a principal will sit in a school and give you that kind of orientation, which means the principal has accepted it as a fait accompli, there's nothing we can do about it. So which means our training here does not pay attention to character. And if it does not pay attention to character, which is soft skill, it's not going to pay attention to hard skill. So what we need to do is that we need to start the journey somewhere, like the kind of conversation we're having here. Look at what a lady, Ellen King, said. He said, since children spend a significant amount of their childhood in school, it is for this reason, if no other, I'm quoting her now, that school should be warm, caring and nurturing places where students feel supported and they feel protected. She said, indeed, research has shown that when children feel connected to school, they have better learning and behavioral outcome. Now, so where does the connection come from? The school is warm, caring and nurturing places. Once the school is warm, caring and nurturing places, children become they feel protected, they feel supported. When they feel protected, when they feel supported, they become connected to school. Once they feel connected to school, the goal of the school is achieved, which is behavioral and learning outcome. So look at where it starts from. But this is the challenge. As of today, many young people are not even in school. Those who are in school, there's no proper attention. When you cram people, 80 people, 120 people in a class built for 40 in public schools, and you say that teachers must not cane, which I agree with. But if they must not cane, what is the alternative training they have on how to deal with these children? So what they do is they just leave them. You've said we should not cane them. The only way we know to do is to cane. That's how at least we raise our own children. We cane them. Now that you say that we should not cane them, then let's leave them. Because you see, the government was trying to correct a problem, which is the fact that children were being maimed and killed in the name of discipline. So government now came and said nobody should cane. Now the commissioner who is taking the decision, the commissioner is in the 36 state of federation is caning his or her own children at home. It's just making political statement. Because if you are not making a political statement, you are going to ask the question, so what kind of disciplinary measures do we put in place to help these children. I think that, again, there's no way we can have this conversation without taking it back to the state of the nation. The national question is still the fact that the Nigerian nation has no plan for its children. And unfortunately, we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder because it's going to explode. The children that we do not raise are coming back to raise down this country if care is not taken. And that is why it is important that we know the rot of when children are not raised, and we want to say, pay attention. That's what Mandela said. There's no keener revelation of the soul of a nation than how they treat their children.
Yes.
So when we look at how we treat children in Nigeria, you will know, you will agree with me, that the soul of Nigeria has departed. It's either we are preparing for a burial or we are preparing for resurrection. And I think that with conversations like this, we must be committed to working to prepare for a resurrection.
Okay, let's take a break. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Okay, you were saying something about us losing the soul.
Yes, that Mandela says there's no clearer revelation of the soul of a nation than how they treat their children. So you look at the way we are treating our children today. Our children are taken to crime. They are neglected. 13.5 million Nigerian children are out of school. Nigeria overtook India in the number of under 5 deaths. India is 1.3 billion people. Nigeria is supposed to be 200 million people.
And we
overtook India, yes. Yes, we overtook India in the number of under 5 deaths. Now, in Nigeria, 90 million Nigerians are said to be living in abject poverty, ultra poverty. They are not only living in poverty, they do not have the capacity to lift themselves out of poverty. Then by the figures supplied by Bureau of Statistics, that is saying that 53 million Nigerians are vulnerable. That is, they are just surviving. They are not poor, but they are surviving. So when you take 92%, 92 million plus 53, that's in a country of 200 million. So you're talking about 140 million, majority, living in abject, 92 living in abject poverty, 53 living just from hand to mouth, so staying afloat. Then these people are raising children. This is the only country where the responsibility of raising children lies solely on the shoulder of the parents. That is the primary parents. Because there are 4 institutions that are responsible for raising children. In this place, we have abandoned it to parents. Now, the way we now parent, we show ourselves that our parents is our ability to pay school fees. If school fees is what makes parent all over the world, it means that all over the world, parents are going to be paying school fees. There are countries where parents don't pay school fees at the primary and the secondary level. They begin to pick up those bills when they are in the secondary level because they want to create a level playing field for everybody. I think that at the end of the day, we need to call a state of emergency, attention to the state of the nation, vis-a-vis the way we are treating our children. If we continue like this, look at what we saw. We saw a 9-year-old girl, something that was unimaginable when I was growing up in this country, that a child will imagine that kind of thing. It was unimaginable. But now look at the kind of movies they watch. Look at you blame parents. You can't blame parents. Parents are working. Look at COVID. Now I was in the US and there are organizations, private and public, that are supporting parents with food, with deliveries, with all kinds of things, so that they won't feel the impact of COVID. Now note, a hotel hired 1,000 people. Now when during the lockdown, they laid them off. Now they called everybody back, only 300 resumed because 700 100 is still enjoying palliative given by government. They are still enjoying their checks.
So they didn't
come back. But here, the case is completely different.
Let me take a comment. You see, you have one as well. It says, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Juvenile crime are to be dealt with by government of the day. Students in Edo State must be dealt with accordingly without fear or favor. We apply too much Western culture into our system. In the past, children are dealt with of their offenses by those in charge, like school or adults. In the UK, because he lives in the UK, any crime committed by an under 18 will go to the junior jail after conviction by the court, after conviction by the court, though the identity will be protected under UK Child Act. The parents can't be punished for the child antisocial offenses. So there is a child, what's it called, prison. Correctional center.
There's correctional center in Nigeria now. There are Buster homes. There are in Lagos State, for example.
One of my cousin now that went there. When he came back, he became times 10 of the crime that that took him there in the first place.
There are Buster homes run by the federal government. There are correctional homes in Lagos State. We have for female, we have for male. But the challenge with what is happening in Lagos State is that you carry children that are found on the street children who are in contact with the law. You keep them in the same place. You keep children in conflict with the law. Children have already experienced crime commission. You put them with children who were just found on the streets who were likely to commit crime. So what do you find? You bring apprentices with masters. They will now, so they will come together. By the time those ones who have not committed crime before, by the time their parents found them and they were leaving, they've already learned some new skills on how to make the state ungovernable.
So it's not correctional at the end of the day. So, man, this is heartbreaking. Okay, so this is from Ufoma. He says, on this subject matter at Edo College, it's a case of bullying. The students victimizing the boys should be expelled immediately. The remaining students will learn from the experience. Speaking from my personal experience in boarding school in Lagos in the 90s, I beat up a guy a year senior to me because he was fond of bullying me. He reported me to his friends in his set, and I was virtually lynched by his entire set and lashed 80 lashes with belts, and was saved by the oldest boy in his set, being in his late 20s. It hardened me. And I didn't report because it was the culture to tolerate torture as being hard, which is just all we
see. This is the point.
So okay,
please ask your question.
I was going to say, so in this case, where's the role of peer pressure making them as hard as they should be?
But this is the point. I don't believe in expulsion. Expulsion of children from school. I don't believe in that, because at the end of the day, children are reflective of the society. So when you expel a child, what you are saying is that the child is irredeemable at that point in your school. But there's no child that is irredeemable. Children were born, every child is born a genius. 98% of children, a research was carried out that they were geniuses. It's either we preserve that genius or we destroy it. That is the responsibility that has been given to us. But as a symposium discussion is huge. But let's look at Edo's matter now. Those children were carrying out a bullying. Do you know how long that video went on? Now, I also want you to know that might not be how long the event took place. Nobody showed up. Under whose guardians were those children? What were the principles in place? And when you talk about peer pressure, well, pressure, if you pressure me, it is what is inside me that will come out. So if we are talking about children, it is what is in children that pressure is going to bring out. So if what they have inside of them is anger, is violence, when they're under pressure, they bring out anger, they bring out violence, they bring out all of that. The truth of the matter is this: we have to, as of today, if you are dealing with these two cases, the way forward, number one, the police, the Edo State government should establish a commission of inquiry to look into what happened. Now, before suspending the principal and all of that is not the way forward, immediate way forward. Is to ask the question, what policies were in place? If that school is a private school, did we have a child protection policy in place? If it's a government school, that becomes an index for other government schools in Edo State to have in place a child protection policy codified into a child protection system, codified into policy on which everybody is trained. Do they have in place an anti-bullying policy? How much time do we spend in reminding them our society is punitive in nature? It's like we are waiting. Look at what happened in a school. A girl entered the toilet, it's boys' toilet too. A teacher saw her entering that boys' toilet. The teacher went to wait.
Male or female?
If a male teacher saw her, went to wait. Now waited. Knew that a boy was coming. Now waited for the boy to come. Once the boy entered the place, he waited a bit. He now entered the place, found the boy trying to wear a condom. That's at the point at which he picked them up. They now expelled both of them. They now called me into the matter. And I said, excuse me, you are a police officer. You saw that a crime was about to be committed.
And you waited.
You did not do anything. You waited for the crime to be committed, for the murder to be committed, for the house to be burnt. After it has not happened, you are there as a protector. You're supposed to protect these children. When you saw that a girl enters a boy's toilet, your first commitment immediately is to say, come, don't you know, even pretend that you don't know that she wants to do something. Come, don't you know that's a boy's hostel or a boy's toilet? Let her know, say, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't know. And let her go away. But we'll wait for the crime to be committed first because we want to prove that we are committed.
This situation is going to be very, very, it's tougher than I thought. So, I like what you said, that there's always hope. I mean, no child is irredeemable. I mean, that's what I think I want to take home tonight, because it seems like, honestly, with every single day, the boldness as to which the crime is being committed these days is with a lot of, boldness. And again, we didn't even touch on drugs. Most of these children are also experimenting with drugs. So it will also explain some of this crime or the juvenile delinquency that they're exhibiting. So we don't know. We don't know if you will come back.
Look at Lagos State. Look at our boys. These are young children who inflicted terror on some suburbs of Lagos during the lockdown. Our boys, 1,001 boys, 1 million boys. These are young people that people have to rise in their communities to begin to defend themselves. What is the future of the nation? And nobody has a game plan on how to restore these children.
So are you working with the government, because we've really run out of time now?
Yeah.
Are you working with the government, and are you open also to them coming to you, because we need to put this structure in place? Because what I hear you say is that this is the structure.
I've continued to work with government, but my challenge these days is that is government really
ready for
serious? Are they really committed? There's no point spending your time working with a group of people
that are not ready,
who might not make use of everything that you are saying. A lot of people are set in their ways, because they do not exist for the welfare and the security of the people. That is the problem. But we keep making the efforts that we are making.
Well, let's just
at
keep
our own
making
level.
Let's keep making that effort. I will keep talking about it. We'll keep talking about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's always an honor to have you with us, on set. So before we go, do ensure. Thank you, Issy. Before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagrams at PlusTvAfrica. You can drop your comments, interact with us further. And we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the waistband and watching. So do well to follow us and like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to also watch and follow us as well. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. The only effective way to reduce and prevent juvenile crime is to balance tough enforcement measures with targeted, effective, and intervention initiative. I mean, if you listened very well to what Taiwo Akinlami said, there are a lot of initiatives that structures that we can put in place, that ensures that some of these crimes, are curbed. Thank you again. All right, we'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.